Hi everyone. I have exciting news to share. Every time I say that, I feel like I'm like, what should follow is I'm pregnant, but like that's so opposite of the case. So I just got a phone call from my from Newton Wellesley, the hospital where I've had most of my stuff done. I should tell you that I went there yesterday and had some biopsies done, not breast biopsies, other girl parts, because they are all connected in this lovely world of breast cancer and hormones and all that stuff. So I have heating pad that I just realized I have it on backwards. I think the soft part should go towards my uterus. Anyhow, not the one for my flooding. That one I decided not to use a heating pad that was drenched in water. I thought that would be a little bit unsafe for my uterine area. So anyhow, so thank you to my friend who took me to the doctor yesterday and let me borrow this heating pad, which is crucial to have, a must-have as you're going through anything like womanly. Because when you have biopsies done, you get very crampy and it's painful. It's painful for a short period of time, but the cramps last for a while. And anyone who's watching out there who may not be female, that doesn't know what it feels like to have cramps, and you hear about cramps like, oh, whatever, just cramps. They're not just cramps. Like it's like your body's defense mechanism of being like, get the hell out of there with those freaking metal tools of yours. Anyway, I assume that the biopsy is going to come back fine. But we had a discussion about Lupron yesterday because I've had 23 now of my Lupron. And I can't remember what I filmed in my last vlog. I know I was off the tamoxifen entirely. Ooh, this is hot. Woo! I'm gonna put this over it so I don't burn my hand. I was off the tamoxifen entirely for 2 weeks. And then I was on 10 milligrams of the tamoxifen for another 2 weeks to wean myself back up to the 20. Like, I know I need to be on it. The side effects just suck. And I definitely have seen side effects come back since I've been back on it. I feel like I should move this closer because I feel like I'm talking loud just to have you hear me. Because it's kind of loud in my apartment right now. Here's my lovely decoration for today. The energy that I have to throw a pillow on there. And then I got this in my TheraBox. Trust the journey. So I've trusted this journey. I've been on this friggin' ass Lupron for since October 2 years ago. So 23 doses, just about 2 years. It's August right now. And I had a conversation with my oncologist, because my understanding when I was on the Lupron was, we'll try it, we'll do it for 2 years. The reason why I started the Lupron, and I don't really want to get into too much specifics. I know I've been very open with everything. Well, I guess what you think is everything. But you don't like go on Lupron because you have breast cancer necessarily. Again, all the parts are all connected because my breast cancer was estrogen and progesterone positive. And where's the estrogen come from? My ovaries. We don't want estrogen. The role of the tamoxifen is to, if there are any like rogue cancer cells, is to like kill off the feeders so that if there is estrogen, the cancer cells can't eat it and they'd like die and go away. The role of the Lupron is to suppress your ovaries. Again, I'm not a medical doctor. Let's throw that out there right now. This is just my experience and my sharing, blah, 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 no liability, whatever. But the role of the Lupron is to suppress your ovaries. So basically you're pushed into a chemical menopause. So that's where I've been since I started. I don't need to go into all the details of stuff, but Lupron is also used for other stuff. And there are many women who are on Lupron to stop your ovaries from working so that there is no estrogen. But then I'm 51 and a half. Just about 51 and a half. The average age of menopause is 51 and a half. I know that I tend to fall into like the 2% of people that whatever in life. And I know that menopause is also based on how old you were when you first got your period. So if you got your period late, like, you know, when you're like young, when you first get your period, then my understanding is you're more likely to go into menopause later than other people. And if you get it early, then you can go into menopause early. What I've learned from this breast cancer journey is like, there's no strict timetable to any of this shit. So I'm very much into like, let's try and see what happens in a pretty conservative way. Cause like, yeah, let's try getting off the tamoxifen and see how you do. And yes, my side effects went away for, I mean, not completely, but they got better. I could definitely tell what were side effects from the tamoxifen and what were from the Lupron. Like the achy bones, not having that was awesome. And then once, you know, it doesn't get out of your system obviously right away, but I do notice the different little tweaks, and I started getting up in the morning and like actually having motivation to like exist, and got up in the morning, put on a workout top. Oh, I should share, this is my workout bra. Whoa, that's a lot of cleavage. That's not even my skin, actually. That's that's a tan thing underneath. That's not even my skin. But this is the sports bra that I got from my bra fitting that I talked about like 2 vlogs ago, which was wonderful. So now that I have the sports bra, I feel like I'm more motivated to get up and actually like use it to do stuff, because the girls like don't move. So yeah, so this is the 3rd day, not in a row, because just because it's the 3rd day that I got up in the morning and I went out for a walk. My walk was pretty short today because I'm crampy, but I thought I should move. And I also fell 2 days ago, which is something new. Besides the winter, like I've never just like fallen, and that was a little concerning. So I banged up my hand and my knee, and I'm sore a bit, so my walk was short. And then my cramping started up again, and I'm like, I have to go back. But I was proud that at least I went down to do the walk. Anyhow, looping back. So yeah, I've been more motivated to do that. And then I'm trying to like force myself to do it now, because part of my side effects that pulled me off, why she pulled me off of the tamoxifen, is just because I'm not feeling anything. Which actually comes in handy when you're having biopsy done. Because you're not put under for a biopsy. Like, you just take Motrin or Tylenol or whatever and just like breathe. I'd say like Lamaze breathing comes in, for me, it came in much more helpful for these kind of procedures than it does for actual labor. So yeah, I've been feeling very numb in emotions lately, and it was nice to be able to like feel again, feel motivated, and feel like joy and peace and calm. And then put me back on the tamoxifen, and I'm just trying to like, you know, remember what it's like to feel that way. But it kind of sucks. But anyway, I'm just trying to consciously do more things. Like I painted probably 40-ish Kindness Rocks the other day. I need to put them out in the Kindness Rocks garden, but the box is heavy and can't really like hold heavy things now. So sidetracked. My kid asked me the other day if I have ADHD, and I'm like, no. Why? I think hyperactivity is so like not where I'm at right now. I think it's just a typical middle-aged woman's mind that you're like have 20,000 things on your mind to share, and especially with all of you, because there was the first day that I got a call from Newton Wellesley, and I'm like, fuck, you know, because I had testing done yesterday, and it takes like 3 days to come back. So I'm figuring like Friday maybe, but definitely by Monday I'll hear. When they call the next day, like before noon, I'm like, shit, what the hell now? Because I wasn't expecting bad news. And it wasn't bad news. It was exciting news. So the news was that my gynecologist talked to my oncologist about the plan for Lupron, and they agreed that I could get off the Lupron. It's my choice whether I want it to be September or October. Right now it's August. My 24th one will be at the end of this month, which is August. But she has to do an ultrasound before she can pull me off, I guess, just to see what my organs look like. I don't really know, but she needs to do an ultrasound first. So they said I could schedule a couple of weeks, but I'm trying. If I'm back on the Lupron and I'm not in menopause, that means I'm gonna get my period. I don't even own pads anymore. I don't own pads. I don't own tampons. And it's like, oh yeah, that world. I forgot about that. The weird joy of like putting on white pants and not having to think at all. I guess that's one perk of being on a Lupron. That like I mean, you're not supposed to have any spotting or anything. If you do, by the way, you get it checked like stat. Because I did have spotting about 6 or 7 months after starting, and it turned out that I had a cyst that grew on my, or was it a cyst? Sorry, I did have a cyst. There was some growth on the inside of my uterus that was most likely caused by the tamoxifen, and it had to get surgically removed. Other than that, like, you shouldn't have any spotting or anything when you're on the Lupron. You should like be off. So I'm gonna have to go to the store and buy pads, and I don't know what to expect. I mean, I might not have my period. I could be in menopause. That's the whole thing that we're trying to see. And I guess an odd benefit, that sounds awful, but to this whole pandemic shit is like the ability to be able to work from home. So like today, I mean, I could barely even walk at all without cramping up. So I'm like, I'm lucky enough that I can work from home. And I should be fine by tomorrow. I just popped 2 Tylenol and it should be better. But that we'll see how things go with the bleeding. It could be out of control. It could be not there at all. But I am lucky to have a flexible schedule right now that I can do that and see like what happens. And I'm just praying I am in menopause. And then like what happens after that, I don't know. I'm not even thinking that far ahead. I just like you so have to just deal with right now, because you know then your head goes to like if you're in menopause, then from my understanding they would switch you from tamoxifen to an aromatase inhibitor. There are Facebook groups. Be careful with them because some of them are just like bitch fests. There are some that talk about side effects of aromatase inhibitors, letrozole and wait, is that right? And estradiol, or there's 2 of them, and letrozole that most people take. The letrozole I think has less side effects, but they're not great side effects. Most of them are bone and joint issues, which is why I do the Zometa infusions to not have those bone issues. But the joints like definitely have an impact. And I do notice a difference because I take fish oil. I notice a difference with my joints, that I'm able to do stuff and they feel more lubricated from that. I drink a ton of water. I drink about 100 ounces of water a day, and generally have a good diet and stuff. And I know that you need to like move around to keep your joints healthy. For those just tuning in, I also did, if you're local, oh my gosh, what's the acronym? Strength in Motion, I think. It was a program at Newton Wellesley where they have a gym, like in a smaller building kind of behind Newton Wellesley. And I worked with a personal trainer there for, I don't remember, I think it was 3 months before my second, or before my reconstruction revision that I had in January. And they gave me exercises to do or stretches to do that will help with like your Achilles or, you know, just to help with balance, which clearly I need to go back to doing those because I fell on friggin' Wednesday or Tuesday, whatever. It was 2 days ago. It's such a bizarre feeling. And like the lack of humanitarianism as I'm sitting there on the floor like a friggin' idiot. And I looked really good that day too. I had just texted my son and I'm like, I got my hair colored, like my hair looked all like pretty flippy. I haven't washed it since she did it last, but my hair was looking really good and I was dressed really nice. And I did have a little bit of a heel on, but I purposely did that because if I wear flat shoes all the time, it bothers my Achilles. So I have to wear something with a little bit of a heel to get relief from the Achilles issues. not like super high heels, like at all. So I had that, and I looked down, and I think I just stepped on a pebble the wrong way. But I was holding a lot of stuff, which was kind of a sign that, like, no, it's time to bring it back and not, like, you can't think that you're going to go back to being your old self. And I hate the term new normal. It's stupid. But I think I was just thinking too much of being like my old self, like carrying 20,000 things on my right shoulder now that my shoulder's fine, and I have to not do that. I have to not carry a heavy purse. I have to wear crossbodies because it doesn't work to just have it on one side. I need to streamline my stuff for my tutoring bag and just like not carry so much stuff. Like, better to make 2 trips and not fall than make 1 trip and carry everything. Whatever. I mean, I'm fine. It's just that, like, now I have boo-boos on me. And with the flood, I had no Band-Aids. I went, thank God my kids are scouts. Because to get, I think to get your merit badge, your first aid merit badge, you have to make a first aid kit. So I used that. Granted, things were expired, but at least I had gauze and tape. It's crazy, like when your home floods and like you lose all of your stuff, and I'm trying to think of, oh, what do I need? I forget. Like, I had no Motrin, so I had to run out and get Motrin, and had to run out and get Band-Aids, had to run out and get antibiotic ointment for my boo-boos. I had need to order another heating pad because I forgot that I don't have that anymore. Anyhow. So I'm excited. I'm happy. Like, today's biopsy, by the way, wasn't even. It's not because something was wrong. And this, I just want to share this with you. Like, typically, what happens for me is, like, I'll go for my annual, and I'll get my testing done, and then I'll get a phone call a couple days later, and then I'm like, crap, and Wellesley's calling, and then they'll say, you know, we found something, we're not sure what it is, we have to go do a colposcopy. A colposcopy is not the same as a colonoscopy, by the way, different holes. Colposcopy is what women get, does not require pooping at all. You can Google it to see what it is. But it's that time of, like, you get the testing done, you're waiting for results back, you get the call, you see it on your phone that, like, something pops up, like, oh, you have a test result that came in, and it comes up as being alarming, and then you freak out, especially once you've been diagnosed, you freak out like, oh, great, do I have uterine cancer too, or cervical cancer, or one of those other female body part cancers too? Like, I don't know. I do know that you can't get uterine cancer just because you had breast cancer. They are all linked together because they're all like girl parts, but it's not like if you get cancer in one girl part, you're going to get cancer in another girl part. They're unrelated. From what I've heard from most groups that I'm in, when people have a double mastectomy and there's no breast tissue, like, I don't even want to use air quotes, there's no breast tissue left, where recurrence pops up is like underneath your armpits, underneath your ribs. So when I was there yesterday, I asked her to do like a thorough, well, I will use air quotes, breast exam, because, I mean, she did like poke around in my boobs, but she was like feeling in here too, just to make sure everything was good. And she's like, you know, you can have tattooing. I'm like, I know. I need to get another part of my body tattooed before I get these tattooed. I know. I'll get there. Just not today. Anyway, it's that process of going in for routine testing like you'd have every year, getting that phone call, freaking out, seeing the test results, freaking out. Then you have to make an appointment to go in to get the biopsy done, freaking out in the meantime because you don't know what's going on. Then it's the stress of the actual like procedure, which is relatively short, but not comfortable. Like they'll take biopsies at like different parts, and then they'll be like, oh wait, and then we have one more, and the one more is always like, ah! Like, it's not enjoyable. It's quick, but that's when your body starts to cramp up because it's like, no, get out of there. And then you just kind of have to rest and give your lower section here a break, and heating pads are nice. I always ask for trick of the trade, if you didn't know this already, heat packs. I always ask them for 2 heat packs while they're doing their procedure, and then ask them to leave with 2 heat packs, not ice, as I'm like going home. And don't drive yourself either. Did that once, it was a mistake. It hurts too much. So have someone else take you. I only took the Motrin once, so that was it. This is kind of this is kind of an overview of like all the girl parts, except my uterus, because I don't really know what that looks like. Yeah, so, and then, you have the procedure done, and then you're waiting for the results from that. So that whole thing is like weeks worth of anxiety. And at this point, I'm like, she said to me, it is an option to not have the anxiety by just coming in for your annual and let's just do the colposcopy. And that way you're kind of skipping the steps of the waiting and getting the phone calls and seeing the results and stuff. You're being a little proactive. Yeah, not everyone wants to, have themselves cut into. It depends really on what your history is of stuff. All of my biopsies, by the way, like uterine-wise and cervical-wise and stuff, have always been negative. But I've had calls that like things don't look right, and of course you have to be on top of that. I think there is a family history of some sort of uterine or cervical cancer in my family. Anyhow, so yeah, so when she called today, I was like, shit, like it's too soon to get the results back. It has to be something bad. And she's like, I have information to share with you. And I'm like, instructions, she said. I have instructions. I'm like, instructions? What instructions? Like, I don't want instructions. The instructions were that I can stop the Lupron in either next month or the month after, depending on like what my schedule is. I am going on a short vacation, so I want to make sure I don't have my period for that, so I'll stay on a Lupron till the vacation's over, and then have my last one, which I think is going to end up being the end of September. So I'll have one more coming up, which was 24, and then another one after that, which would be 25, and then stop and see what happens. I don't know. Pray that I'm in menopause. I'll still need to be on the tamoxifen because you're on that for a long time, but to be off the Lupron will change a lot in how I am with mood, sensory stuff, lots of stuff. And I'm willing to take the chance of just seeing what happens. So, I need to get to work. But I wanted to share that with you because I got a phone call today from the hospital, and it was kind of exciting news. It's the end. Well, I'm being optimistic here. And I didn't even drink out of my optimism mug today. I'm being optimistic and hoping and stating, manifesting, that this is the end of one long chapter of this breast cancer process. For me, is the end of Lupron. And I'm manifesting in any way that I can, and please send good vibes that I'm in freaking menopause. And that I don't need them anymore. And then obviously, they'll still follow me somehow to check whatever to make sure that I'm okay. I don't feel like I'm being careless by getting off of it at all. I was never actually put on the Lupron because of the actual breast cancer. It was just kind of a combination of things that were going on in my body, and not having hormones from my ovaries was just like one more thing added in after I found out that my cancer was estrogen and progesterone positive. Everyone's got a different journey. But today was a positive step. So here's hoping, and here's praying, and here's manifesting. I wish I could find all my crystals and do whatever I can do to just bring in the positive energy and stop the flow and just be done. I will get some pads just in case. And he'll wrap them up in a whole bunch of like duct tape to manifest that I won't ever need them. But we will see. I don't know. So it's going to be playing around with the body and see what it does. And yeah, I feel like I'll be in a very different headspace when that whole thing happens. So I don't know. We'll see. And I'm not going to like vlog, like sharing like, this is what my flow was like today. That's a bit too personal. I know I'm pretty personal on these, but like, I don't need to share my freaking period stories. Like, who wants to hear that? I don't know. You might, but like, ew, no, no, I'm not. That's not what this is about. I'm just excited that there's like an end in sight. And I remember doing a vlog like about end dates for things, and it just seemed like there is no end date. Like once you're diagnosed with cancer, like you always have that in the back of your head. And the end date for tamoxifen could be really long. So I don't know. So it's very exciting today to get an end date and see what happens. And I might need to go back on, but I'm manifesting that I will not need to be back on. So, yeah, join in with the manifestation with me, please. That like, yes, Jen's ovaries are done. My kids are grown. They're not flown, but they're grown, and it's time to like be done. I don't need that anymore. Like they could just go away and just, you know, wither away to nothing and not do their job and let me be in menopause and then just like live the rest of my life. La 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 la. So, whoo, we'll see. Alrighty, I will touch base soon. Yeah, be careful with your balance out there, people. I don't know what that was even about. It's just like I fell on my, I fell and supported myself with my hand and my arm. So like I'm just really sore in here, which is actually my good arm. But don't do too much, you know, like can't expect to go from 0 to 100. And I think it's a subconscious thing that you just like go back to being like yourself. And you just gotta remember that there's drugs in you that are making you not quite yourself. All right, so go do something that you enjoy today. All right, that's gonna be my my wish for you, and I will touch base soon. All right, bye.